Patsy, Connie, and loudmouth Linda, keeping it real, no agenda. Satire, truth, and a whole lot of fun. Politics, crime, we get it all done. From breaking news to a joke or two, we do it our way just for you. We just can't make this stuff up. 1 year strong and we ain't gonna stop. Mic in hand, voices loud, shouting truth, making you proud.
Well, hello everybody. Look, he's got his own square. Well, kinda.
I got my dogs.
He's got the puppy square.
Yeah, he's got the puppy square.
Let's see if I
Norm,
can
that's awesome. Hi, KMM. That is awesome. We're supposed to get into the 80s next week.
We were did we hit 85 today?
every bit of it.
It was so hot today, guys. It's unbelievable. But the wind, it had a cool breeze. It was different. I mean, you'd be out there and you'd be melting, and then all of a sudden this cool breeze would come through. You'd be like, oh, that's
Wow.
I was inside all day, so I don't know.
Wow. Did you have a good day?
I know that. Hot and humid.
Did you have a good day?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Got a lot of nothing done.
Oh, that works.
Not too many dumbasses coming in. Oh, I didn't say that out loud, did I?
Yeah, you did. Everybody heard it too.
Oh, okay. Everybody's stupid on the other side of the counter. That's all I got to say.
Clyde, what is the fine? I think I misspoke yesterday. Is it 500? Is it 5,000 if you get busted in a school zone in Texas on a cell phone?
I thought it was 1,000. I think it says 1,000 on the sign.
Is it 1,000? I thought it was 1,500, and then I thought, well, maybe it's 5,000. Maybe it's something really crazy.
It could start like at 500, and then if you get caught more than once, then the fine just keeps going up. And
Makes sense.
you can't even have it in your hand. You don't even have to be talking on it. You could just be holding it and holding it with the steering wheel, and they will think you're being distracted driving. And back in the day when they first had cell phones, you were saving time, or you were, they encouraged you to talk on it when you were driving. And now it's like a big no-no.
Good evening, everybody. Hello, Norm. Hello, KMM. It's good to see you guys. I wanted to tell you a little bit about that. You were saying how Texas has the stand to right law or whatever.
Stand your ground.
Stand your ground. And I said, yeah, it's at your home. Well, it can be at your home, or it can be at a grocery store or whatever, but it doesn't apply in the school area.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, you guys, I'm like so fixated on this Carmelo Anthony thing.
No, I know.
And I mean, I just think that this is taking a turn to the wrong direction. A total
Yes,
in the wrong direction.
I think so too.
And I I'm gonna watch it really close, because I just don't think they are calling this the new OJ trial. That's what they're referring to this as, the new OJ trial.
I can see that. Okay, but here's my one major thought. And my major thought is this. Even if
She just froze. I know. There you go. You have to say it again. You froze for a minute.
out, even if Metcalf did put his hands on him, which they're saying he didn't, the brother said he didn't even touch him. He just touched his bag.
Right.
Okay. So, but the point is, why did you leave your home with a knife to go to a school event?
Well, and here's the thing that
Why?
somehow is getting buried under the rug. He was expelled from school for having a weapon. He wasn't even supposed to have been there. So he was expelled from school for having a weapon. He should have known at that point not to have one, right?
Right.
Okay, man, let me tell you about that. He is saying that he is being bullied and that he's got death threats and all this kind of stuff. Well, there's a gated community outside of Dallas because Frisco is right in that area. That's called Rosebound, and it's a gated community. And he's living in a $900,000 home. That's his safe place.
I'd like to see the house when they leave.
I mean, it's unbelievable. I saw a video today where a bunch of people, and these are kids, right? Right? No knives. He's already been expelled for having a knife. He should have known better. Okay, the other thing they're saying, which is crazy, which Clyde could probably chime in on this, they're saying that it wasn't a knife. It was a cleat sharpener.
Which, if you think about it, cleats come out of the shoe, so it would be something that went in, right?
Mm-hmm.
To sharpen the cleats.
Well,
So
I've never seen a cleat sharpener.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a cleat sharpener?
No.
Okay, well, I would think, I'm just thinking when I'm with Linda, it's just a little spike. So wouldn't it be round and you would go in like a pencil sharpener? It wouldn't be like a knife, I wouldn't think.
What was he needing cleats for?
Because it was track.
You don't wear cleats on the track.
You wear cleats on track when you're running. I did.
You didn't wear, not on those tracks. Those are synthetic. They've got to be a synthetic track. It's not dirt they're running on. Unless they're back in the old days. All these
some of the schools still have
tracks.
Some of the schools still have dirt tracks.
Right.
They've got
but
maybe yes, but
a cleat
sharpener are different. I think the cleats are different also.
Yeah, because
Well, you're gonna have to you put it on your phone.
Anyway, a cleat sharpener is a round stone, 1 inch thick.
Okay, see, that's what I was thinking. I didn't think
it's not going to stab nobody.
No. And yes, the neighbors have said that the family has bought a new Escalade, and it drove up to their house with the papers on where the license plate is, and they have to have new license plates by June, which in fact, guys, the trial is in June.
Well, don't they do it like they do here? They give you a paper plate and then they mail you the plate.
Right. So they have to have their new plates
so
on.
It'll be there in the next week.
Whose birthday's today? Today's not KMM's birthday. I know for a fact it's not KMM's birthday.
Hi, Royal Apple. Yeah.
Maybe it's Royal Apple's birthday.
None of it's making sense. None of it is making any sense at all because it's just a stone that sharpens the cleats. Unless, now here's the catcher, like Clyde was saying, some of those, like the soccer cleats, don't have spikes anymore.
No.
They're just plastic or like a resin or whatever they want to call it. But that's on the bottom. And I know this because my grandsons play baseball and soccer.
Right.
So they're not real cleats anymore. I don't even know if you could get a pair of cleats. I don't even think the professional wear the metal cleats anymore. I don't even know if you could get a pair anywhere.
What are your thoughts, Clyde? What do you think about this whole
Well, those cleats are depending on probably the level that you play at. Even back when I was playing baseball, we weren't allowed to have steel cleats. They all had to be the rubber type cleats, even though we were playing on dirt and grass. It
Right.
was you could never do it because it was too dangerous. So people were sliding and you could hurt somebody pretty bad. So, and that was back
a couple of years ago?
late 70s when that was. So that's a long, and so I can imagine in high school these days, anything to keep the kids safe, that there would be no such thing as steel cleats.
Right.
And if it is, I mean, these schools these days have got so much money and they've got nice tracks, and I mean they're almost a rubber type track that they don't even want you running with steel cleats on there. You'll see the football players and they'll put out carpets and stuff to walk across it so they don't mess it up with even their cleats on it. And those are a harder cleat unless they're playing on artificial turf, and then they've got turf shoes, so it's something completely different. So I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about that case, but like you say, something just does not. Something doesn't add up, and they've turned it into the race card. And I mean, you're telling me if my son goes and stabs somebody, I can go and put out what are those? We start sending money to those things, and I'm going to get me a new house and a new Escalade, and I mean that's just insane.
Well, Seg, this is a proven fact that they got a new house because I can show you the picture and I can show you the car.
Yeah.
But my question to everyone is, it's a proven fact that he was expelled for having a weapon in school. That's why he was expelled. Why was he at this event in the first place?
With a knife.
Yeah. Why?
And if he was expelled, he shouldn't be on school property.
He wouldn't be competing.
No. No.
Yeah, and that don't
He
make any
wouldn't be
sense.
competing.
It almost sounds like I don't know if he hunted him down or it was just he never knew the guy from before. The whole thing is just too weird. I don't know what the
they
witness
said
said.
that they had never met before.
Okay.
Okay. So now whether that's true or not, that's alleged they had never
Yeah.
met each other before.
See, it was from my assumption that they went to two different schools.
They
Yeah.
did. They did.
But I
All the
heard.
tins for the different schools at this
That's
event.
what I thought that I read.
hmm And he did go under the tent because it was raining. Because it was raining. But again, I'm asking, what was he doing there if he wasn't even supposed to be at a high school event? If he was expelled or suspended, I know he was expelled.
I guess it would be which school it was being held at.
Really?
If school he was expelled from, then yes, he shouldn't be there.
Well,
Right.
track meets can have five or six different schools, don't they? Competing, so
Yeah, there was a bunch of schools there.
Yeah. And they all had their little tent area.
I mean, it's not normal for somebody to invade somebody else's tent, but it's regardless, you don't stab somebody over it.
Right.
No.
And that amazes me, KMM, that your son wore metal cleats because in the 2010s, that amazes me. Because my son
Football or what?
My son didn't wear metal cleats playing soccer or baseball, and neither did my other son. It is public property, Seg, but they have school zones, and you can't do a lot of things you can do in a public park that you can do in school on school grounds. I mean, with marijuana being legal, people are smoking it everywhere in the states that it's legal, even though you're not supposed to be smoking it out in public. But try to do that on a school zone, and you're going to get hammered with a fine and or go to jail. I know, at least here in Michigan. You know,
Right.
being at a park, they may just confiscate it. They may tell you to move on. I'm not sure. I've never encountered it. But I do know that in Michigan, in a school zone, you will get nailed with any kind of drugs other than like aspirin or something like that.
I was just looking at the comments. Donna had told me to have us look at the comments. I was just looking at the comments. Okay, well, here's my thing. So he went to the school event, shouldn't have been there. He had a knife, shouldn't have had one. And Seg, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to look you right in the face and say he's going to get off. He's going to get off, and I think that that's going to open a bag of worms, because that's saying it's okay. And I don't think killing somebody's okay. That's my own personal opinion.
Right.
I don't care what color you are.
The only time I feel it's okay to kill somebody if it's self-defense.
Okay.
And I mean,
he's doing self-defense. Now, if those boys would have pushed him or socked him,
right.
If they would have pushed him, okay, so the law in Texas reads that it is a reciprocal kind of attack. So for him to have stabbed him, Austin Metcalf would have had to have hit him with a baseball bat, because it has to be on the same level, and it's not on the same level. Right, and it's not on the same level, and there's only 2 states in the United States that has this law. Texas is one, and the other one is Oregon. The rest of everywhere else, he could have probably got, but he's going to get off anyway. I'm telling you right now, he's going to get off anyway. And I just, and that bothers me, because I think that's going to open up a floodgate
that we don't need.
No, we've got enough race baiting going on.
We don't need this.
I am not racist at all. I don't care. If it had been reversed, I would have said, you know what, Austin, you did this.
Go to jail.
You're going to jail.
This could turn out to be another, if they do prosecute him and he gets convicted, it'll be another Rodney King type thing. And
what was the other one? The other green.
That's going to get bad. That's going to get bad. So.
You know, and I guess from what I have read and what I've been looking into, he put his hand on his shoulder and told him, you got to go.
But where's the coaches? Where's the teachers? Where's the people that are around there? If there's somebody that's supposed to be watching over these kids, to where you can say, hey, coach, you know, this guy's in the wrong tent.
Yes, there were a ton of witnesses.
There was 30 of them, and most of them, and you know what, Seg, I'm going to tell you something. The only one that's showing any peace and any love in this whole situation is Austin's dad.
Right.
Austin's dad. He's the one that lost his son.
And he said he already forgave him.
Yeah, he said, I forgive him, and he's going to go before the court and let it come out as it may.
Right.
But he said it is not a race thing. Don't turn it into a race thing. And you know what? He's right. He's right. If it had been reversed and it was a white person, it would be racist. It would have been racist because you know what? He killed him because he was racist. Now it's reversed and it's a black person, and he's saying he's racist. He was attacked and it was racist. I mean, no matter how you look at the situation, the race card was going to be pulled. And I just think the race card needs to stay out of these situations.
I think they do too. And that starts with the news. You know,
Right.
why
Right.
in the news does it have to be a black man, a black woman, a white man, a white woman? Who
Well,
cares? It was a man, or a woman and a woman. I
It
don't
was two
care.
high school kids,
Yeah,
period.
it doesn't matter what color they are.
No, you're right.
It does not matter. Because I mean, for people out there that think that, you know, we may sound racist or whatnot, and we're not. My
it's right
son
or
has
wrong.
all
It's
kinds
good
of black
versus evil.
friends.
No,
And
I'm
they
not racist at all. I
and
just think the race
yeah,
car needs to be stayed out of this, and somebody lost their life.
right.
And
My
my
son,
question is, did it really have to come down to that?
right. And my son has a ton of black friends, and they all call me mom.
Yeah. Well, and you're right, Norm or Donna. Austin's dad went to the press conference and he was standing there and he was being extremely respectful and quiet listening. And he was told to leave, and the cops came and took him out of there. Why? He's not allowed to go to the press conference? Oh, because everyone else could. There was a whole bunch of people there, but he couldn't because he was Austin's dad. I mean, and Austin's dad's already said, let the chips fall where they may, but don't turn this into a race thing.
Right, exactly. It was two teenage boys.
Too late.
Right, exactly.
Right.
It's too late.
It's going to be a
Because
race thing until,
the media already did it,
you know.
you
Yep.
know, and I follow somebody, and I don't know if any of you have ever heard of him, David Harris Jr.,
Yes.
and he is a black man that is
Mm-hmm.
for Trump, and he hates racism, and he's all over this. And he's like, he should not have gotten his bail lowered. They should have not gotten any GoFundMe money, and they shouldn't, blah, 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 blah. And this is coming from a black man. So he's not looking at color. He's just saying this kid deserves to be in jail.
So I guess my question here is, it used to be when I was in college and taking law classes, it used to be that justice and injustice is the dollar sign. If you have a lot of money, you can get off of stuff because you have a lot of money. Now I'm sitting back going, well, I guess the difference between justice and injustice is the color of your skin. Right?
My
So,
thing is I don't understand. I mean, I understand that the African American race has gone through a lot. I
yes,
get that.
they have.
I get that. But we can't go back 400 years. Nothing was done to you per se, just like nothing's been done to me per se. But the point is that every time something like this happens, they bring out that damn color card.
Right. Well, and here's the thing, if you want to get into brass tacks, um, we could bring up every race. The Indians sure weren't treated right.
Oh
And
no.
the Irish came over here and were told to live in boxes and eat off of potatoes. That's why they got the nickname Spud. I mean, we can, the Italians came over and they called them horrible names too. I mean, is there really truly a
Call
race?
them WAP.
Absolutely not.
They call them WAP.
Absolutely not. Yeah. Yeah. They did.
You know, and to this day, I am Polish. My father was pure Polish. Um, and my mom was something else, but my father was pure Polish. And to this day, if I do something stupid, I have some people that call me a Polak.
See, this is what I'm saying. It doesn't matter. You can find something, some kind of race comment in anything.
Yep.
You know, if you have a horrible attitude and you're mean and you don't want to bend, you're German. You're just German. All of a
If
sudden
you're
you're a
stubborn.
Nazi. You're a Nazi. But in this situation and all of the others, I think that race should be totally taken off the table. It shouldn't even be talked about. It's
Right.
two kids at a track meet.
Right.
and one. Right, Norm? I'm a dirty white girl. There you go. Clyde, you're a dirty white boy.
I mean, and let's be fair here. There's white people and people of other races that they, the black claim that, oh yeah, everybody tells us we're ghetto and we're this and we're that and we're bad people. There's just as many other nationalities out there that have just as crappy a people.
Right. KMM, there you go. This is what I'm trying to say. They put every race in a lane. This is, if you're German, you like to drink too, or if you're Irish, you like to drink, or if you're Native American, your kids are going to be born with
that's
alcohol.
The communist way. Okay, that's the communist way. That's the socialist way to put everybody in categories and rate them. That is exactly what communism does. And that's what the left and that's what this whole party's about, putting everybody in categories. And if you go along with it and you pay this victim's card, you're falling right into what they're doing. And it's got to stop. I mean, people have got to wake the heck up and stop listening to that and be their own person. And I don't know if it's ever going to happen. I really don't. I mean, there's too much brainwashing going on in this world right now. So, class warfare, absolutely. I mean, it's one thing or another, and they'll find a way to divide the American people: white versus black, women versus men, rich versus poor. You name it.
Sexual preference, sexual preference against. I mean, it's like everything.
Right. I mean, look at this. Women can't go out at night alone unless they're with a group of women. And even at that, sometimes some of them never come home. A woman cannot go out on her own. I used to go shopping. I used to do this. I'm scared to walk out my front door. Yes, I do. But I won't pump gas at night. I won't go to the ATM at night. I don't even like being out at night anymore. If I don't have to be, I'm not.
Well, you heard about what's her name?
Why would you say we're hypocrites? I'm curious why you say what a hypocrite. I mean, I'm just saying, just take everything out of the situation and go with what exactly happened.
Right.
I don't care what color the person is. I don't care if he prefers what he prefers in his sex life. I just want him to be held accountable for his actions. Period. Right. We all need to be held accountable for our actions. I don't want to hear about what color they are. We're all Americans. You live here. You live in America. You're an American. I don't care.
You live by the rules. That's simple. You live by the laws. I mean,
they tried to make this division between everybody, and they're succeeding. They're somebody's gonna scream something. Do you know? I'm gonna make this perfectly known, and I'd like to see somebody argue with me about this one. The only human in America that cannot scream racism is a white male. Because a female will say, you know what, they did that to me because I'm female. But a white male says they did this to me because I'm white. That'll be thrown completely out. I'm not doing it, Seg. I'm trying to tell you, it needs to stop. I'm telling you, it needs to stop. All of this stuff needs to stop.
It does.
You need to be held accountable for your own actions. Whatever it is that you do, you need to be held accountable for it.
Right.
Ozzy peed on the Alamo Dome, and he was held accountable for it. He was not even allowed to come to Texas for a long time because he did that.
Right. And the whole thing too is that this bail crap. It's not fair. They should have set bail. Okay. Murder one, it's $1 million. and just go from there. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, pink, or purple. But in this situation, because he was black and had a black judge that is highly involved in Black Lives Matter, she knocked it down to $250,000.
The judge,
When you
Alexander,
had
her name is Angela Tucker,
right
and she is a BLM activist.
when you had, and I don't know if any of you, it was very popular back in the 80s, White Boy Rick. You probably saw the movie on it, or you can go watch the movie on it. It is a white kid. It was a white kid that the police set up selling drugs. He was an informant, and then they busted him because he was working for them. Do you know he's got a life sentence for that? And it wasn't even like a kilo or anything like that. It was enough. It was maybe like an 8 ball that he had, if you know about drugs. If not, it's, several grams. But he sat in jail for life until they finally let him go, because all of the police and FBI that was involved in his case is now dead. And they said they kept him in jail for his own safety. Talk about injustice. And that was a white boy. So it's not just one side of the railroad tracks. It happens to everybody. If they, for whatever reasons be out there.
Well, Seg, I can show you article after article after article where she is a BLM activist. I've got them all pulled up. If you want to see them, I'll be happy to show them to you. But I'm going to tell you this. She needs to be recused from the trial, because if she is included in that, then that does not make her a fair and impartial judge. And that's the reason we have the kind of judicial system that we have, so that when you go to court, if you were to touch somebody and they stabbed you, then you can go to court and get a fair trial.
Right.
And Seg, while you're at it, put yourself in the shoes of Austin Metcalf's dad for a minute. I'm not taking any bait. I'm just reporting it as they are bringing it out.
Right.
How about the guy that's standing up for them, that is going around talking for him, that beat a 2-year-old until the point where he was brain dead? How about that one? That right there is in his documents, in his legal, in his criminal history documents. He was never brought to justice for it. So he's out, and that's fine. I'm just saying, I think there shouldn't be a division here. You do something, you are accountable for your actions, period. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what group you're associated with. Yep. You do it. You did it. You're held accountable for it.
I agree. And that's the way it should be.
Plain and simple.
But I think that a lot of broken homes don't have the parent, be it father or mother, because they have to work. So they're right. The ones out of broken homes, like I said yesterday, I was a single mom. I knew where my kids were. I knew what my kids were doing. And they knew better than to do anything.
Well, Donna, I think they are going to let him go. I think they are going to let him go. And I think he's going to get off.
And, the thing that's so sad about it is that it's an 18-year-old kid. So if they do let him off and he got away with murder, who's to say that? I mean, this can go either way. He can straighten up and be a participating person of society, or he could turn into a criminal. It can go either way, but we won't know till down the road because he's not being held accountable for anything.
I think
So,
think
I mean, if you're not held accountable for a murder, what would stop you from doing anything else?
shoot, they'd throw me under the jail. I'm telling you right now, if it was me, I would have already been locked up so tight, and nobody would have had to GoFundMe, and I would have been underneath the jail, and they would have said, "Let her rot."
Right.
I'm telling you that right now because
Yeah.
I know that to be a fact.
Yeah.
I mean, no, it hasn't happened to me, but I just know that that's the way society is right now, and
Right.
society needs to change. Society needs to open their eyes up. Is what
Right.
they need to do. They need to love their brother, like the Bible says. But is that going to happen? We can sit here and preach till we're blue in the face about religion and love your neighbor and take care of your neighbor, and it all, you know, is it falling on deaf ears?
Well, and to be fair, this world is so screwed up that it's causing mental problems for people. Period. Look at his mother. His mother seems like she's a wafer off.
Okay, I want to address this. Yeah, Donna, I did see that he was throwing up signals from a gang member signs and was holding his gun up so everybody could take his picture. But here's my thing. Let's be honest. Every state has gang members in it, but they're all different. Okay. And Texas is known for having a lot of the Aryan Nation in their prisons. Just the way it is. And this is not the sign he's holding up. So I don't know whether he knew that that was a sign, a gang sign or not. He might have just been throwing up hands, just, just like we used to do the rock and roll sign, I don't know. That might be a good, that I think right now that goes to the, what is it? The Longhorn, whatever, the Texas Syndicate is this now, I think. So, I mean, you don't even know when you throw up your hands anymore, whether it's a sign for.
And you know what? I remember being a kid and my dad doing that, and it meant bullshit.
See, so they just pick up whatever they want to with whatever signs they want to, and they take it on for themselves, and everybody's like, well, don't do that because that belongs to them.
Right.
I wonder if there's one like this.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, the gun thing in the picture kind of bothered me a little bit because he wanted to look like a gangster. But he hadn't done anything wrong.
I mean, did he do it to? Okay, let's look at it. Right. Let's look at it this way. What if he did it just to prove that he's, a gangbanger, or just to prove something to his friends and his peers?
Look tough.
So you're going to ruin your life over something like this, because what's going to happen now
Linda froze.
That are just as angry as the white people. Yeah. There's so many black people just as angry as the white people. Is he really going to be safe if he gets out?
I don't know. I worry about him too.
That's what I'm saying. Is he, is he going to be safe when he gets out in the world?
I worry about him because is he going to be safe if he goes in?
Right.
I mean, is he going to be safe? Period. Question mark.
Right.
It's just all of it's messed up.
Right. And the parents need to quit having the parent.
Monkey God's got Linda. She froze up there for a minute.
The parents need to just stop having press conferences.
Right.
As far
Right.
as I'm concerned.
Right.
You
And the
need to
media
stop
needs to
pushing the
quit making
envelope.
their opinions. And the media needs to stop making their opinions.
Right. Exactly.
Don't you think, Clyde?
What's that?
Don't you think the media needs to stop chiming in on
The
everything?
media is the biggest enemy we have right now. I really believe that. It's part of the FBI's Mockingbird, and they're going to report, and too many people listen to the mainstream media, and it's all that stuff. You can't make it go away, but these people need to wake up and hear what they're listening to on TV is a bunch of crap.
Right? Look at
And you don't know what to believe because you can go online and you can sit there and look at all that stuff, and you got to go through to find out what's real and what's not. And unless you're there, you really don't know. And you get some of these people I know where they actually go out, and they're just people like me and you. They take their camera and they go out and they'll be walking down the streets. It's like in Canada that one year when all the truckers were locking down Canada. There were people out there showing exactly what was going on. You didn't want to listen to the mainstream media because they were saying how bad these truckers were, and the truckers were just trying to. They say,
Yeah.
look, we got to get rid of this COVID crap, and you're not
Right.
listening to us, and
Right.
that. But there were actual real people out there showing what was going on. And that's the kind of news we need, and whether it's somehow we got to find that in
Right.
our thing and on what we can see on TV, if that's, I guess, what it is. But I don't think you can. I think it's all going to be online. And the people that watch the CNNs and the MSNBCs, that's all BS. It's all BS. Fox News, BS. I mean, it's all crap, all them people. And
go back to the old time.
They're all owned by the same people.
Exactly, Norm. And go back to the Bible days where it's an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. There's some gray areas there because somebody really could be fighting in defense, defending themselves. I believe that things happen when you defend yourself, but I just don't see this being one of those situations.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't think this was self-defense. I think the real truth is this kid didn't want to fight. He don't want to okay, this is what I think. I think that back in our days, if you got mad, you went outside and you just went to Fist City.
Right.
That's where it went.
And half the time they end up friends after.
Right. And nobody some people could get a broken nose, or somebody might get a few bruises or whatever. All right. Well, okay. But they went out and they got the thing done, and then it was over.
Or are they searching for their 15 minutes of fame?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be famous now. I don't. No. There's too much crap that goes with that.
Right? Yep.
I don't need people outside my house clicking pictures and having to have the blinds drawn all the time. And every time I step out of the house, people are worried about what you're wearing, what you look like. If you got makeup on, don't have makeup on. I would not want to be famous. Not at all.
Oh, no, because they pick you apart. They pick you apart. They pick your family apart. You're not driving the right thing. You don't live in the right house. You don't wear the right clothes. I remember, I'm going to pull a news article out of the sky that just, I thought was way wrong. When Tommy Hilfiger came out, he came out and he expected he was going to hit this one race, right? Or whatever. And when he found out the people that bought his clothes, he threw a fit. He threw a fit and said, you know what? I didn't make this clothesline for them. Well, you know what? I don't think it's your choice.
And you know what? You killed your label doing that.
He did. He did.
Yep.
You know, I mean, you put your clothes out there, no matter who likes it, whatever, be happy. Just what happened to just be happy? Just be happy. Yeah, I know my puppers need to be famous. Benny, 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 Jim, Benny, Benny. I'm getting the side eye. I'm sorry, guys. I probably would have let this go because, there's a lot of bigger trials like that Karen Reed and all this other
Right.
stuff that's going that I really don't really seem to care much about. I mean, it's all right, but I'm just not into it. But this one, I'm like thinking, I don't know if they can even hold. They're going to have to move the trial to someplace else where they're not going to get some kind of prejudice in as far as the jury goes. Who's not going to have heard about it?
But do you remember that grandma that is like in her early 60s that went to jail because she was praying in front of an abortion clinic?
Yeah, and she's still there.
Yeah. Where's the justice for that? That's stupid. Nobody's touching each other. Nobody's spewing words. She's just sitting there praying.
Yeah.
And she's sitting in jail for this.
Right. Well, what about a lot of the January 6ers that saved people from dying? They were stomping all over and they were pulling them out, trying to save their lives. And they're out now.
Not all of them.
Oh, there's that one that they said that he had some kind of grenade or something silly. Yeah. But I mean, they're out now.
Yeah, he's out west. He's out west by you somewhere.
Wow.
Oklahoma, Iowa, somewhere out there.
Wow. I have my thoughts about January 6th too. So, but I mean, it's amazing. They can put stuff in our food. They can make us wear a mask, which was more dangerous, by the way, for us to wear a mask than it was to try and breathe it in.
Yep.
Because the masks we were wearing was not keeping this microorganism from going between the little holes in the mask. I still watch people walking around with masks on, and I'm thinking, are you trying to protect me from you, or are you trying to protect yourself from me?
I love the people that wear masks in cars by themselves.
Yeah, well, who's in that car with you? Well, and here's the thing. So if you have asthma or anything and you put this mask on, it makes it really hard to breathe. But the second thing is, do you know when you breathe out, you breathe out carbon
monoxide
dioxide and you breathe in carbon monoxide? Do you know that you can breathe in more dioxide with a mask?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, they did, Seg. They made me wear a mask. They made me get my shot or I was going to lose my job. Yes, they did.
Yeah, I did. I never wore
my choice whether I had a job to keep my house afloat or whatever. Yeah.
I never wore a mask because I am asthmatic. And what they kept saying, people with lung problems, it's really going to affect them or really going to affect them. What they found out was that the asthma medicine is what kept us all safe. I never had COVID until was it the end of last year, Connie?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. It was at the end of last year. Well, and God made a perfect machine that if we breathe in and get a virus, we grow antibodies to be able to fight it off the next time. And if you don't believe that, Seg, you can look that up. That's exactly how our bodies work. God made them that way for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, if you're not breathing it in, you're not going to grow the antibodies. They can't shoot an antibody into you so that you are protected from it. In fact, the shot that they gave us, how many people have gotten COVID with the shot? Oh, it was supposed to make it not quite as
Bad.
bad. Well, I'll tell you what, my mother got COVID and it was pretty dang rough. So I think that you're going to catch it. If you catch it, you're going to get the same kind of thing. See, Norm, did you get a shot? And you know what really is interesting about those COVID shots? Johnson & Johnson was the only one that gave this one shot thing, right? Right? And they said they don't work, so we're sending them overseas. This is what they told us. They do not work, so we're sending them overseas. Well, if they don't work, why are you sending them to another country?
Right. And it's not a preventative. That's just like all the vaccines that we take. It doesn't prevent them. It only makes it so the symptoms are lighter.
I chose
And
to.
why do all the mothers
I
flock
chose to put a roof over my head.
when
is what I
somebody I lost my train of thought. Mhm. So anyway,
I chose that in fact, most of the time I didn't wear my mask. I stayed back in the lab and I didn't go out front because I said, I'm not wearing this mask and I can't breathe through it. And so I'll just stay back here in the back because I can't go out front because, I might contaminate somebody. I'm surprised I wasn't told to leave because I might contaminate the whole workforce.
I wasn't allowed in a store because I wouldn't put a mask on. It's like, look, I have medical problems. And they're like, well, you have to wear a mask. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to because it's not going to make my medical problems any better.
Right.
We can't let you in. I said, okay, fine. I'll take my business somewhere else.
Well, and it's like KMM said, that you have commitments and things you have to do. And they said, wear a mask or else, basically. You do what you have to do, exactly, to survive. So what did I do? I made masks. I sewed and I made masks.
Yeah.
Because, you had to have one that went with every outfit. The masks became a fashion sense.
Well, yeah, they started selling them like crazy from China.
Yeah.
With all different things on them.
I went to Mexico.
You can buy them right next to your cigarettes at the 7-Eleven.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep. Yep.
It just, yeah, you have to do what you have to do. But I'll tell you one thing, I won't take the mark. I can guarantee you that. I'll starve first.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just that I go by what the Bible says, and the Bible didn't say anything about a mask, but it sure did say something about the mark. Yes, I'm sure it didn't say anything about wearing a mask. I'm pretty astounded on my Bible seg. I'm telling you right now. My mother was a Sunday school teacher, and so was my father. And as my mother would tell you, don't twist the words. The words are written for the way they're supposed to be read. Don't twist them to make them be what you want them to be. Sorry. No, I'm not saying that you will take the mark. What I'm saying is I said I will not take the mark. I hope there's a lot of people that won't take the mark.
Oh, no, she's saying that at SAG.
Okay. No. Yeah, no.
Right.
No. Clyde never had his shot.
I only put marks on my body that I want there.
Right. Yeah, I want a beautiful penguin.
I got
Or
my
a palm tree, whatever.
I got my owl.
Yeah, that works too. What do you think, Clyde? Chip in and tell us what you think about all this.
That's all old. All them talking COVID shit. We all had to fight through that. I never took a shot. That was all baloney. And I fought with my doctor over that day in and day out.
Yep.
And he kept saying, when are you going to get your shot? When are you going to get your shot? I did the research, Mike, and it's safe. And he'd tell everybody at work, this, that, and the other. And I'm just like, this is all
Right.
whatever.
Right.
It's a flu.
Mm-hmm.
And
then
they have.
when I finally got it, of course, I had a really bad sore throat, and that was about it.
When he got COVID,
like,
yeah.
if you would have gotten the shot, you wouldn't have been sick so bad. I was out a week, back to work, no big deal, and took a little time off. Lost about 10 pounds, felt good,
And you know what? When I did get COVID, my granddaughter had it, and my daughter-in-law had it, and my son had it. And I called the doctor at the first sign of sniffles and sore throat, and he gave me medicine, and it was out of me. I didn't get any worse than the sore throat, and it was out of me within 5 days. I only had to take medicine for 5 days, and it was gone.
Right.
I don't know. It's all just hopefully we won't have to go through that kind of stuff again. People will get smarter and wise up. I mean, the big pharma is evil. The government's pretty evil, and mainstream media goes right along with all that. And I just think we all have to be on the lookout and take care of yourself. Eat right, exercise, no smoking.
That's horrible, KMM.
But I mean, it's just a matter of taking care of yourself, take care of your family, take care of what you can.
Right.
Defend yourself when you need to, and it's life. I mean, it is life. We all live it. Not everybody's equal, and I really feel for the people that did get pretty sick, but it's always sounded like if they had COVID or they got it, they all had something already going wrong with them.
Underlining issues.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was always the biggest thing. And you find out they're obese with diabetes and they had heart problems already. And it almost felt like, and I said it when it came out, it almost felt like they engineered something to get a lot of people off, get them out of this country so they don't have to pay these hospital bills and get them out of here. And a lot of the old people that were in nursing homes ended up passing, and it was just sad. I mean,
and you know what was the saddest part of all of that is the families that had to look at their loved ones through a window.
Yeah.
You couldn't even say goodbye to them.
You couldn't even have a funeral or anything. Nothing.
Yeah.
That was
sad. That was sad.
That was very, very sad. Very sad what they did.
And I don't know. Do you remember every day they kept saying how many people had died from it? They had a running total. And it's like, oh my God, it's like every day, oh, there's another, and they would talk about it at work. Oh my goodness, another, 22 people in this area have passed away from it. And it's like, no, they didn't. It wasn't actual COVID. I mean, people were dying in a motorcycle accident and they tested them. And as long as they put COVID on there, the hospital got money for something. And I can't imagine it being that bad. And I know one of the ladies, when her mom passed, she was 92 years old and she wanted to see the death certificate and they put COVID on there and she had a fit. Good for her to go in there and say, you take that off there. Whether they did or not, I don't know. But somehow she ended up passing and it was pretty much old age and it was just her time to go. And that's just sickening. It was all about money and control of the people. And anyways, it's time to go.
I'm too hungry.
Donna, that's horrible. I'm sorry. That's horrible.
Oh, did they get 39,000 if they had COVID? Well, there you go. You got to ask your question, your trivia question, Linda. Did you come up with one?
Oh, for the shirt.
Yeah, or do you want to wait till Sunday? We can wait till Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
well,
had a very busy day with the babies today. Very busy.
okay, well then Sunday we'll do our shirt. Sorry guys, I was gonna wait today to send everything off for the next shirt, but that's all right. I'll get all of your guys' shirts out tomorrow. It's that time.
Yep.
So
Hit
be
the like
safe. Our sweet puppies are 4, aren't they?
Yep.
Yep, they're 4.
Hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber and you like what you hear. We try to keep it as real as possible and we try to keep it as factual as possible. And we love each and every one of you and have a great weekend.
We'll see you Sunday.
Love you.
Love
Bye,
y'all.
guys.
I'm going to the theater tomorrow night, by the way, guys. I'm going to see the Addams Family musical.
Good for you. That ought to bring back
I'm
some
excited.
fun. Yep,
I'm
there you
excited.
go.
So y'all have a great time over
Good
the
night.
You
weekend.
guys.
Enjoy the weather if you have beautiful weather. Get out there.
Yep, have fun with it.
Good night.
Good night.
Oh, great AMM. She's going up north.